mighty good. Well, the Lord, the Lord, the Lord, the Lord. Yeah. Help me, James. Oh, the Lord is sweet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sweet Yahweh. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Hi y'all, so Isaac Curry is out here going viral again with some nonsense. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys listen to what this gentleman had to say. He was the manager, or maybe he still is, I don't know, of Maverick City, if you guys are familiar with them or not. So I'm gonna let you guys listen to what he had to say, because I don't want to put or change up nobody's words, you know, that's coming out of their mouth. So I'm gonna let you guys listen to this piece, but he also said some other stuff that was kind of interesting, which was kind of elitist, but I digress. People try to make themselves chaff, you know, come off way more than what they are, is what it was giving. But I'll come back with that as well. I'm gonna let you guys listen to his point about why Maverick City, I guess, is not making it in the gospel sector. He feels gospel music itself is not doing well, which is not true. And gospel music don't have to do well, because it's connected to a culture, it's connected to a group of people. See, it don't have to do well, because it's folks in churches that don't have no record deal that's blowing it down. You understand? Blowing it down. And they don't have to have no record deal. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing with their anointed sound. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to let you guys listen to him, though, and I'll come back on the other side.
Traditional Christian norms. Was that intentional, or was it just God?
No, it was intentional. Maverick broke because the gospel norms wasn't working no more, man. Y'all sing too hard. Y'all oversing.
Good God.
Stop doing that. Nobody want to hear no runs. They look at runs. They don't want to sing runs. That's why R&B and pop, that's why pop is more popular than R&B. People like singable music. Wow. They want to, like you would rather, that's why Chris Tomlin was the greatest worship leader ever. Why? You know, want to know why?
Why?
He's not the best vocalist ever.
Wow.
So people like to hear music. They think, oh, I could do that. That's what's going to happen at a church. If a worship leader hear you singing, he think, I could never do that. He's not going to sing the song. Like, why would he? If you sing a song in a way that, like, it's congregational, that's why the mix on that stuff is different. We mix towards us singing. They mix towards the congregation singing. You'll hear a lot.
And so, as you can hear, this conversation is kind of, it's familiar, because we also had this conversation about hip-hop, right? Like, it's been diluted. Everybody's not talking about nothing. And they're not talking about nothing because it allows people who have less talent, who don't really know how to write, who don't have the ability to deliver anything, who don't really want to say anything anyway, right? It allows them the opportunity to get into the music industry and just grab money. So it's just a money grab. And and this is how it sounds from this interview as well. Like, this man was just interested in making money. And I think Maverick City, they are more of a Christian sound, because they're more of a Christian sound. I'm not going to get off into what I was going to get off into. They're more of a Christian sound. And so if they can't make it over there in that genre, that's not Black Christian music's fault, Black gospel music's fault, right? And I think that they tried to tie themselves with Kirk Franklin in hopes that Kirk Franklin would help, move them, right? And so, that's what was going on. Kirk Franklin was not able to do that. And see, has been given grace and have been given the opportunity to things the way he do things, right? Which is also outside of the traditional way in which gospel music have been delivered. That don't mean that everybody who listens to gospel music and who goes to a black church want to hear the stump or want to hear Kirk Franklin's way of doing things because he's been able to go and become successful. What people are trying to do is manipulate and their way into things without even or pretending that they don't understand that gospel music is attached to a culture. It's attached to a story. Like gospel music dates like back hundreds of years. Do this man understand that? And so I get why people are on TikTok saying that Isaac should have made those corrections, but he didn't. Like he should have stopped him and said, do you understand what you're saying? Do you understand that gospel music is tied to a group of people and is tied to a culture? And we have been allowed, because I don't know what Isaac Correa is, as I sit here and think about it. We have been allowed. He could have said, we have been allowed to be able to come into this music and make money in it. You understand? But that do not give us a right to say that it needs to change, because it does not need to change. Because first of all, it's supposed to be helping to minister to people. Anyway, it's just not out here for, it's not just a genre of music, right? Even forget the history of it, even just from the gospel standpoint of it. Like it's supposed to be ministering to people. These singers that he's saying that oversing are anointed. They've been blessed to bring forth those sounds to touch people. The little boy that you hear at the beginning of this video is anointed. Regardless if he had a vocal coach or his parents taught him that song or not, he had to be able to deliver that song with his sound. Everybody cannot do what Yolanda Adams can do. Everybody can't do what Fantasia can do. Everybody can't do what Kalante can do. Everybody can't do what Shirley Caesar can do. You understand? And so you don't get to knock them down because you couldn't fit into it. You need to go and find what you fit into then. You understand? That's how I see that. Like I'm kind of tired of these people coming into our culture feeling like it's something wrong with y'all culture, so they can try to place themselves in it. No, you need to step out here and do something for yourself and stop riding on people's backs and start, to try to make yourself feel like you're somebody that you're not. Because then he started saying, well, I don't relate to never could have made it. I don't relate to that song because both my parents were doctors. Yeah, but there are people, regardless of tax bracket, that can relate to that song. They made it through cancer. They made it through a deadly car accident. They've made it through things. They've made it through law school. You understand? Your parents had to make it through medical school. And I'm sure before they became doctors, they have a story. So yeah, people can forget where they come from, and I got that. But we all fall short of grace, and we all have things that we all have to overcome, regardless of where we are in life. Whether you sitting on billions or whether you sitting on nothing, there's things that you have to overcome. You understand? Because there's people with a whole lot of money that's miserable out here. That's out here doing drugs. That's out here sex trafficking. You understand? Where you're not going to fall short of grace or fall short of God's word. Isaac should have been correcting him, but he didn't. But Isaac did not correct him because Isaac wants to go viral. But he wants to be able to have his name, this is called free promotion, us talking about him. Right? So now y'all know Isaac Correa has a podcast if you didn't know it. Right? So you'll let this man sit here and disrespect our culture, disrespect gospel music, disrespect amazing singers. Right? Because he couldn't make money off of his semi-talented group, that he should have had them placed in a certain genre anyway, instead of trying to bring them into a sector to where they didn't really fit. Let's talk. Because he should have been trying to get into that Christian sector instead of trying to come over into black gospel music, where that those singers could not make it there. Well, some of them anyway, because some of those people probably can sing, but he had them singing in a certain manner because he was trying to touch that Christian base, you see. Because I went on his page and I see that he has a certain family, so he's trying to stay over in his wife's community. And so, in order for him to do that, to make money over there, he has to stay to where they can feel they understand. And so may not understand the way our people deliver gospel music because that's not where they grew up. But we don't need to change nothing. No, we don't. Gospel music don't need to change because even if gospel music is not a genre of music, we're gonna still have it in our churches. You see, and I feel like I don't believe him anyway when he said that the genre is not doing well. I feel like the genre is doing well because we still have our young people that are still coming. Like it has to still be growing. So you couldn't make it in gospel music because you're trying to come in and you guys see the pattern of people doing this. It's like the Essence, going back into the Essence conversation. Instead of that man creating his own festival, creating his own magazine, he wanted to buy something that was already established and turn it into what he wanted to turn it into. You see, and without even making any type of announcement about that, because he wanted to hoodwink people into still supporting it while he's making all these changes to it and trying to slowly take our culture out of it. I think that these people should be expected to come here and to pave their own way. Don't come here and ride on somebody's back and then try to pretend like that's not what you're doing, because that's exactly what they're doing. There's nothing wrong with gospel music, and there's nothing wrong with people using their God-given talent out here. Music, people are trying to do that with R&B as well. They're trying to do that with all of our genres. Like I said, this conversation sounds familiar because it's also how they're manipulating rap music, how they're manipulating R&B and trying to say all these people are R&B who can't even sing. And it's like, no, you have to be able to sing. People have to be able to feel your music for you to really to be in that genre. Create your own stuff. What is wrong with that? I don't see the problem in that. But people are trying to cheat and they think that they have a right to do that to black people. And that's what's really going on. They're trying to manipulate black people to get into your space, so they can then completely just remove you out of it, because that's really what they want to do. You can tell he sounds very disrespectful even saying that. Oh, I'm not moved by these people doing all this hard singing. No, because you can't do it. That's why you're not moved by it, because you can't make money off of it. That's why you're not moved by it. See, instead of you going to get some real gospel talent, you thought you was going to try to bring your wife's people over into our space, and they don't really have that same sound, right? Or they can't produce that same sound. It don't work like that. They have their own genre for a reason, and that's where you should have stayed. And you could take Kirk Franklin over there with you, to be honest, because like I said, when you go into black churches, people are still singing the traditional songs that we have always been singing, in the manner in which they are supposed to be sung and delivered, because that's how that's supposed to go. We don't need to change nothing. You guys need to come over here and create, and from grounds up, your own stuff, and stop trying to finesse black folk out of theirs. Let me know what y'all think about this conversation, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Clearly, $100 million in jury. So I can't relate to never would have made it, because I would have made it with or without. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect, OG, oh God. So I knew then, like, ain't nobody listening to that. You feel what I'm saying? And if I keep it a stat with you, I won't even worry about Maverick. I won't worry about Maverick City. Their lead singer was the backup singer to my backup singer to the backup singer that wasn't even a good singer. That's y'all lead. Ain't nobody worry about that.